Everyone, so obviously by the title you saw that this is the Carrie Bradshaw apartment build. Carrie Bradshaw as in Carrie Bradshaw, the journalist from Sex and the City, also the main character. If you guys have never watched Sex and the City but you do watch the Carrie Diaries, then you might be a little bit confused. Carrie Diaries is a spin-off of Sex and the City, and it's basically Carrie Bradshaw's teenage life. But this is her apartment from Sex and the City, which is a very explicit show in a way, so I don't recommend it for underage kids. But other than that, it's okay. It's a good show. It ended a couple years ago. Don't know, I forgot. But to me, it was a good show if you like that type of show. But anyways, I know that there was, I think Deli posted a picture of these blueprints, these drawn out blueprints from this person that does blueprints of a lot of famous TV show houses, and she put it up, and I've been wanting to build the Carrie Bradshaw one specifically for a while now. And you know what, I was watching one of her YouTube videos, and she was, it's apartment, like an apartment renovation, I think, and she was talking about how it's like Carrie Bradshaw and blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, you know what, I just have to do it now. I have to get to it, because I don't know when I'm gonna end up doing it, but I know I really want to build this, so I decided to. It actually took me longer than I thought, even if it's just a 1-floor apartment plan. I did have to redo the entrance all the way at the bottom so that the elevator matched the floor plan. And yeah, so basically right now I was just doing the main structure of everything, you know, the build, the windows, the walls. Well, the walls, those are always the default walls I put in, but now is when I'm putting in the actual walls. And I do the better version of her apartment, because there is an earlier version which takes over most of the seasons, which is the practical, laid-back New York look until she modernizes her apartment a little bit more, which is this one. I had to look up a lot of stuff. I had to do a lot of research and look up all the bedrooms and everything. So a lot of this, I had to just do it freehandedly, what I thought it looked like. And a lot of other things I have to improvise and just do things my own. So some things have my personal touch. A lot of things, actually. Probably just the build is the closest thing to the actual apartment. Other than that, the furnishings are inspired by it, but not completely the same, because it was very, very difficult to match everything, since her apartment isn't even like cluttered at all. It's so basic, yet it's so complicating to put into a Sims game. So I did try my best, and I really do hope you guys like it. But anyways, the living room here, or yeah, living room, it had this where I put the little coffee table. It was actually one of those beds, I don't know what you call them, one of those sofa things that usually go up against the window. But that's what was there, with pillows. And obviously the Sims doesn't have decorative pillows, except for the ones from Generations, and those go on the floor unless it's split leveling, which I didn't do here. Pretty sure you can somehow split level in an apartment, but I knew it was too much work. I already had a lot more to do. But so I just put the coffee table in there. And here is her bedroom. There was like this, I don't know, it was either a dining table or a coffee table, but it's just this table that she has there, where the white one is that you can see, it's from Fastlane, and I just changed it from metal to white. And if any of you have ever seen Sex and the City, this is her closet, and it's not as cluttered and full as hers is, but I tried to put as many of those clothes racks as I could. Because if any of you ever have or do watch or catching up to because you never saw it, because the Sex in the City is already over. But anyways, if any of you have seen it, watched it, you guys know that her closet is pretty, like, all over the place, yet organized in a way. But it is just like this. It's like a walk through from the bathroom to her bedroom, which I really wish, like, I wish I had her apartment. I would just die. I don't even know, like, I've dreamed of living in New York forever. I visit all the time, like, I don't even know how many times a year. I don't know how many times in total I've gone to New York, because I live in Massachusetts. If any of you know, obviously all of you know who Lo Anthony is. Same exact town. And no, I do not know him, so do not ask me. Just because we live in the same town doesn't mean we know each other. If we would go to the same school, yeah, but I don't. I go to a private one. Anyways, like I was saying, I live in Massachusetts, which is 4 hours away from Manhattan, well, where I live in Massachusetts, because when I travel to New York, I go through Connecticut, not straight to it, like just to the side. Because if I was going to upper state from here to, upstate New York, it would literally take an hour or two, probably two. But I usually only travel to Manhattan and Westchester. But anyways, those are both down there, and obviously Brooklyn, all those places, but that's all for me connected, because it's all down there, so it counts as the same thing. But either way, I visit so many times a year, but I live here with my mom, so, and I don't think I'm going for college to New York either, but if I do, oh my god, I'm so getting my own apartment, because the New York life and all these shows with living in New York and the Manhattan and city life, it's just for me. It's so for me. Anyways, that's completely off topic. We should get back to the build. This rug I had the hardest time with, because I wanted it to get as close to what it was in the show as possible. And it's just like this white rug with these big purplish, like, leaves covering most of it, so most of it was purple, and there was, but the bottom was white, and I couldn't find anything but this to get close to it. And if any of you want, if you guys can change it, obviously, if any of you know anything better that I could have put there, let me know. If you know what it looks like, or what it looked like, or if you look up the picture and you find it and you see what it actually looked like. And these lamps too, hers were 30 times better looking than those. They had a bigger cover, and the stand was a little bit bigger, and the rim was golden, and the stand was white, and so was the cover, but I couldn't find anything like that. Also, for these, I really wish that The Sims had a closer replica to the chair, but this was the idea of the chair. It was just more rounded instead of, like, triangular and squared off. It was more circular. But it did have the thing without the armrests and the smaller back board thing. I don't know this talk. I don't know what you would call that part of the sofa, but the part that your back leans against. And sorry, you just saw my computer, because I accidentally sometimes press the Windows button instead of ALT. But I just, oh yeah, the sofas. Sorry. That was the concept of her chair. And actually, that white chair I put right there looks exactly like the one that she had. And I put 3 circular tables in the middle, because she had one circular table that was that size, like, together, like, that size that it makes together was basically the size of hers alone. And instead of just putting a bunch of tables, I forgot which one was that you could put, and it would make a circle that you go around with it. But that would be too much work for me, and not even too much work, I just thought it wouldn't really go with how hers was. So I just, like, put 3. And I was looking for things to put on here that would match, and I remember I had this pillow from the store, and even though it does have, like, jewelry on top of it, I was like, you know what, closest thing to a pillow I could find, using it. Also, I really hate the shades that Sims 3 brings, because her shades were her shades, her curtains, sorry. Her curtains were bigger and just fuller, and they really completed the look in her apartment, actual one. So I was just like, oh, why can't they have any of those on here? It would complete everything, but they didn't, so I had to deal like most of the stuff here. And here she had like a bookshelf, and I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is inspired by, some of it's not even close to what she had. Like the bathroom, I'm like, I am not dealing with what her bathroom looked like. I'm just gonna go with the basic of how it is, like where the bathtub is, where the toilet is, and you know, where this is and where that is. But I'm decorating it completely to my liking. The only thing that matched were the wall and floor and where everything was. But you know, it's just The Sims doesn't really have the things that you do in real life. Most of the time. A lot of times too it does. It's in between. It's in between. Like the little entrance hallway, I know she had a table there, and in the door, the table in the door for her entrance. That's pretty much what like matches, but I did change the color of the table. I'm pretty sure hers was brown and this one is black with the like glass legs, I think they are, because they seemed transparent when I was taking pictures. But either way, it's an inspiration type of thing. And you guys don't have to get it if you don't want to. You guys can change it up if you get it and want to get it and, you know, want to change it up. Or you guys could stay like how I did it and just stay content with what I did, because I worked hard. Tried to. Anyways, right here in the show, she has like a little nook, which I don't know, because in her room she has a computer, but I'm guessing this is like for writing and the other one is for typing, because in the show she does type a lot of her journal stuff. So it's just a little nook. And this was another nook with, I think it had a bookcase, but you know, I was like, you know what, it's right outside of the kitchen, why not put things that look like, make it look like a little open pantry kind of thing. And then her kitchen, I just went freehandedly on myself. I did the walls completely different to what hers were. I did do the floor, but I did do the like where everything was, how it was in the show, except for the fact that on the right side of the kitchen she would have the fridge at the end instead of me putting it all the way over here in the bottom left. But I started off with how she had it in the beginning of the show, but like I said, this is the modernized version when she changed it towards the end of the show. Her apartment, if you watch it, you'll get it. It's just that she had, her apartment was one way from like seasons 1 to 5 or 4. 5 or 4. And then the last season, I don't know, one episode there, she changed her apartment completely. It was either at the start of a season or it was an episode. I really don't remember. I haven't watched the show in a while. I was watching it yesterday though to see how the old one looked, because I was going to do it like the old one, but I was like, nah. Her old one was so cluttered. There was like stuff, and there was just extra furniture that we would have to put in. Like the bed had like a like a bureau behind it. It had like another end table, and it was just a lot of stuff and cluttered. And I did like the concept of the old version better though, because there was like a lounge chair going through the section there that cuts the room off from the living room, and it was cute. But I decided to do this. So here, like I said, where the bathtub and the shower are, it was like hers was a lot bigger than what a Sims one would be, and it just took up that whole space. So I decided just to put the bathtub and the shower because I had that space for that. And like I said, the decorations are basically just me, how I felt like I would have a house. If I had a house in New York, this is how I'd want it to be decorated. My bathroom, I would really like this big bathroom, because when I know every time I go to New York to visit, the bathrooms aren't that big. They're barely ever big, depending on whose house it is, and usually not very. Unless, yeah, not most of the time. Unless it's like a penthouse or a house in Manhattan, depending on where in Manhattan. But I think we're finishing off here. So thanks for watching, guys.